if you want to look to leaders, get a huge mirror. Okay? The time of us waiting for leaders has to be over. We can't, of course there's a place for leadership, and there will be in this party. But if we're going to organize it as a different kind of politics, then we've all got to take the initiative. And that reflects some of the questions that's very difficult to answer. Because at the moment, if you look at the message that Jeremy and Zara put out, at the moment, the only decision-making entity is the 6 independent Alliance MPs, because Zara has joined them. And what they're supposed to do is put together a broad, representative, demographically and geographically diverse group of people to serve as the conference organizing committee. So you people, we all, should be commenting on that. We're not going to leave it to the 6 of them. We're all going to have our opinions about how that should be structured and how it should work. And we're all going to have our opinions about what the conference should look like. It's obvious what the discussion points are, and a number of them have been raised here today. Brilliant points about the Constitution, about the warnings, etc., etc. Start communicating that to the 6 MPs. Tell them to get a bloody move on. Tell them to improve their communication. Tell them we want access to the data locally. It's ridiculous. We can't wait because it's a parliamentary recess, so we can't contact people in our areas. Our lives haven't taken a recess. Our lives continue. The struggles and difficulties that we have don't go away because parliamentarians are on holiday, but we need to be telling them this stuff. That's our role. So I really hope that this is the first of many meetings, that it's the smallest of many meetings, that you don't have a panel of speakers at future meetings, that you meet to, as a community, actually discuss what it is you want to send to those MPs at the moment and the other structures as they get formed. And you need to ensure that every time you meet, the group of people you're meeting as has expanded. You know, what is one of the biggest communities in Tower Hamlets? The Bangladeshi community. A community that my own MP, with 19% of his constituency who are Bangladeshi, says during the election, for his dog whistle racism, oh, those people who came here on boats must go back to where they came, like the Bangladeshis. Now my wife's Bangladeshi. She wouldn't go bloody near a boat. I don't know any Bangladeshis who came here on boats. This grouping needs to expand. It needs to include the whole of the Tower Hamlets community. There have been discussions with Aspire that I'm aware of, and my understanding is that the mayor is very well disposed to this new initiative and has been at some of the meetings that I've been at. So I think that's a very good suggestion that's been made about involving Aspire. There have been talks with trade unions. It won't come as a surprise that at this point the most active and those who are informally very engaged in the process are the smaller unions, because the bigger unions have been taking a number of political positions that a lot of us have issues with, including the leader of the biggest union in this country suggesting that her members' jobs in the defense industry are more important than a genocide in Gaza. Well, I would say to her, her responsibility as leader of that union, representing those workers, is to ensure that the state funds the diversification of their crucially important jobs into far more socially and economically productive jobs than just in the defense sector. Okay, then the issue of WhatsApp. First of all, if you have any interest in security, my day job is as an investigative writer. I do investigations into national security, into the global arms trade. Incredibly popular person with our government and with our as you can imagine. Okay? I put nothing that is in any way sensitive on WhatsApp. It's not secure. The only thing that is secure, which is very clunky, is Signal. And even that we have to keep tabs on to ensure it remains secure. So that's the first lesson to learn. The second lesson to learn is we have to go back to doing something absolutely revolutionary. Talking to people in person. Now, if we think that everybody who at this point is a supporter of Nigel Farage is a racist, we've got it wrong. Some of them are. And they, like Nigel Farage, who was described by one of his teachers as a nasty little racist, even when he was at school. A lot of the people supporting Nigel Farage are just bloody desperate. And they've fallen for the lie that he is anti-establishment and gives them an alternative. We have to create something that is truly anti-establishment, that, as Chris and others have said, will fundamentally change the way in which politics is done, the way in which power is exercised in this country. And we are going to face resistance. We need to be knocking on doors of people. People are doing it in Bristol, for instance. They're doing it about Gaza. They're doing it about the new party. We need to be doing it in every area. We need to have rolling house meetings. We need to have people's forums. And when the resistance from the establishment comes, as it already has started to come, when somebody calls me a self-hating anti-Semitic Jew, which in itself is what I would describe as an oxymoron, okay? When somebody describes the most anti-racist MP this country has ever seen as a racist and an anti-Semite, when somebody decides that Chris Nynham should go to prison because of his resistance to a genocide, when somebody decides that Palestine action should be prescribed, we mustn't say, oh, let's try and placate them. We must say, and excuse my language, fuck you, your agenda is a right-wing fascist agenda, and you can couch it in terms of anti-Semitism, which frankly, as the son of a Holocaust survivor, I find repugnant to those members of my family who were killed in Auschwitz, where I've lectured on genocide prevention. And we must take forward the notion very seriously that an attack on any one of us is an attack on all of us. And it doesn't need to be a so-called leader. It needs to be any one of us who is involved in this liberatory struggle. And in that struggle, I'll be very quick, in that struggle, we can have differences. We can debate and discuss in a comradely, respectful, intelligent way, because we're all intelligent people, and we are capable of making decisions on the basis of arguments that are presented to us. And we mustn't be scared of debate. We must be committed to finding common ground based on our shared progressive socialist principles, and we must be welcoming to all who share them. We live in an incredibly dark time. But having lived through the worst times of apartheid in South Africa, I know from personal experience that darkness is finally defeated by light. And the coming of the light is dependent on us, but it is also inevitable, because history teaches us that, just as we experienced in South Africa. And we must never forget, to quote somebody we all know and love very well, we must never forget that we